Okay, so we're going to have you step in. And I'm going to actually do the delivery system. So that way, why don't you step in over here. When you're handling the collar, or the e-collar, the LED display faces you. Thumb is the, help me out here, vibrate function. We don't use that. All right. Index finger on the black button and middle finger on the red button. All right. So basically, we're going to turn this down to 0 or 1. Actually, it won't. It's on C for continual. So basically, there we go. On M, she's not going to be able to feel this. See that red button? That's as long as it lasts. About a tenth of a second. Okay, or half second, whatever. On continual, up to about 10 seconds. All right? So the point is to not fry the dog on continual. The way we use the collar is we use continual because I'm going to invade your personal space like a metronome.
Right.
Okay? And the rhythm is pretty much the same. It's like 3-beat or 4-beat time. Bump, 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 until you get behavior. All right? With continual, when you have a dog who's as resistant as she is, we can make that a little bit longer. We can hold that note for just a little bit longer. Bump, bump, bump. Okay?
Right.
Bump. So that way she's like, oh, that way it alleviates the need to have to roll through the dial. Most of the time. That doesn't mean that you don't, but starting out, what we want to do is make it as easy for her to be successful as possible. So she's been working on about a 10. Here. If you see, there we go. Yeah, she's got, here. You can see the ear flicking.
Mm-hmm.
Good girl. And I mean, she was actually clicking it right in her head, so it's hard telling what it was. But it's on an 8 now. We're going to move it back up to about a 10. If she starts getting a little, indifferent and not responding appropriately, we're going to start rolling through the dial. So when you handle, here, good here, good. I just hit boost. It's up like 5 increments higher. So if it's setting on 10, if I hit the boost function, it's going to make it 5 levels of stimulation higher without having to roll through the dial. So we're going to close contact just like this, loose leash. When we start walking, we use our left leg. That always starts. The left leg starts and stops everything. All right? So as we go forward, auto. You ready? Kennel. Tap her in here. Sit. As soon as she makes contact. Good. In order to satisfy the here requirement, she must face me. If I represent 6 o'clock on the clock face, she represents noon. We always face each other. In order to get her to line up, I move in opposition to her. If she's pointing to my 4 o'clock position, I move to my 7 o'clock position or 8 o'clock position, whatever, in order to draw her to me here. Tap, tap, tap. Sit when she's lined up, and then reward. Good girl. Ready? Okay. Go. I want you to overhand the leash, never underhand it. Overhand it, just like that. If you underhand it, she'll snap your wrist like a twig. Loose leash. There you go. You never fight resistance with more resistance, ever. Forward, left leg starts, kennel.
Kennel.
Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 keep going, keep moving.
Kennel.
Here, sit.
Here, sit. Cool.
Nicely done, good girl.
Good.
She's like, where's my food? See how that works? Where's the chick that's the Pez dispenser? Tap her, sit.
Sit.
And if you can, try to avoid repeating yourself. And take her off the table. Okay.
Okay.
Let her have a reward. And do it again. From there, kennel and route. Tap and route.
Kennel.
When she starts heading out ahead of you, you stop moving and compel her to continue.
Kennel.
Leash pressure up. Here, sit.
Here, sit.
Make sure she's lined up before you tell her to sit, because she'll drop into a sit without being perfect. And at this point in time with this dog, I want perfect.
Lead it.
Good girl.
Okay.
Drop your hands. The one problem that people do is they draw everything to their chest. Okay? This becomes part of the visual signal, and we don't want that. We want as neutral, as emotionally passive and neutral as you can be. if you change what you do, it becomes part of that cue. And what we want for the dog to see is our natural flow, okay? We want to be as inert and as immutable as possible. Calm. This is not calm, okay? We also don't want the dog thinking that all of this control happens here. We don't want the dog seeing these things that we use. We don't want them to be part of the process. The reason we create an environment that mirrors a loose leash or free environment is because we want the dog to feel the freedom of moving without pressure. And this is a dog, like I said, she fights, you fight back. So she's never learned when she's right. The absence of pressure is as important as the presence of pressure. Okay? So we want to make sure as soon as she's right, all that pressure's gone. But we want to guide that. You go forward, you turn towards me, you sit, pressure goes away. When she's right, woohoo! Make sure that she understands that this is right. Onward.
Should I give her a here and then kennel?
No, we're just going to tap her heel and you're going to turn away from her. Tap heel, kennel
Heel.
and round. Tap,
Kennel.
tap, tap. Here, sit.
Here. Sit.
Good. Never accommodate the dog. That little arch and movement that you made, okay, make her accommodate you. And the reason this is important, again, and a lot of people are like, part of the problem that humans have is that they don't realize the consequence for helping a dog. It's just like helicopter parents.
I don't know what a helicopter is.
Sit.
They hover over their children.
They don't let them make decisions on their own.
Okay.
Okay? So in an environment where you never allow the animal to make a decision, the dog never learns how. All right? If I continue to feel pressure and I'm being told, here, tap, here, sit.
Here.
No, do not move towards the dog. You move away from the dog. Tap here,
Here.
in opposition, around the table. Back up. Here, tap, tap,
Here.
tap. Catch her when she's right. Sit.
Here. Sit.
Okay, and again, keep your hands low. See what you're doing? You're gravitating
Yeah.
up towards your shoulders because this is the eek a mouse response that people have. You have, even guys, okay, women in particular, all of our power is from here to here. Guys, it's from about here to about here. Anything past that point, we lose power exponentially, especially women, okay?
Leave it.
So it's important to keep your hands at your center of gravity, okay? Because the dog will always be favored. When it comes to the battle of center of gravity, the dog always wins because he's lower to the ground, okay? So what we want to do is maintain that calm, relaxed
Should she
state.
be maintaining the tension on
Tap. Let her figure it out. A little bit of leash pressure in opposition. Move to your right, not up, to the side. There we go. Tap, tap, tap. Keep tapping. Sit.
Sit.
Leash up. A little more leash pressure. See how much leash she has? She can basically escape you. Now, there you go. Roll down the leash a little bit. Sit. Hit the boost function if you have to. Leash up. Sit. Leash down. There you go. She's all focused on me because she thinks I'm going to come in and save the day, and that ain't going to happen. One of the things that has to happen, let me take over for just a second. My sweetheart. Here. Is the speed with which you operate. There we go. Sit. Nope. Here. Sit. Good. Kennel. Here. Sit. There we go. See how I keep going? The only absence that you actually really hear is when she's right or when she's in motion. All right?
Okay, so in between the command and when she gets up, you're not tapping?
As long as she is maintaining momentum or maintaining that inertia, no. If she
Okay.
starts trailing off and moving, absolutely.
Okay.
Sit. Thank you. Very nice. I know. You're tired and bored. You got a crying ass shame. Okay.